stuck into it. Welcome to Saints TV, everyone. Welcome to the round 17 review. We're heading home from Geelong. Final score was Geelong 84, St Kilda 57. So not the blowout that I was going into the game thinking was going to happen. I think most people, including Ben over here, my roommate, also Geelong fan, probably thought they were going to win by a lot tonight, I reckon. But it wasn't the case. We came and seemed to have a different sort of game plan in terms of having players around the ball. I think we crowded their midfield a bit, and it took them a while to get into space. That's what the Cats do very well. They love to rebound, they love to handball, just keep the ball moving. They don't like this static sort of play that we force them to in the first half. And you would notice that when we kick them behind, and usually you watch Geelong, they come in, Chewy will play on, he'll kick it long, and then they just run with a series of handballs before kicking it to Hawkins. But we slowed them down, so I have to give credit to the likes of Dunstan, Billings, Marshall played an outstanding game. Mainly that first half. Stanley performed really well late, but I thought Marshall's output was as good as he's been this season, so he's just ticking the boxes every week. I thought that Dunstan was very good in the clinches. Dangerfield got hold of that midfield late, and pretty much he was the match winner for Geelong, along with Ablett. But there's not much to fault in that game, which is a bit disappointing because I was genuinely hoping that, either we win or we lose badly. And we sat, typical St Kilda, we sit right in the middle where we lose by 27 points to the top team, and you're thinking, is that enough for change? And some people are commenting saying that Alan Richardson looked pretty dejected after the game, and that shows signs of someone that might know his fate already, someone that probably thinks that his job's lost. I'm not too sure yet. We'll see on Monday. I'm really hoping Brad Scott's not the pick of the bunch to be the new coach, because if he is, I'm not going to lose a lot of interest in the club. It's just Brad Scott I don't really like very much. But back to the game. Bruce, very good, kicked 3 goals, was lively early. He's the one that kind of got us going, along with Ben Long kicking 2 goals and a massive one from, I think, close to outside 50 that I didn't think he had in him. And I think we got up to, we were 10 points up at one point. So we kicked a few goals in a row and found ourselves 10 points up, and from that point on, I think we only kicked 2 more goals for the entire game, and that's kind of us in a nutshell. We play well in patches, and then for some reason, Geelong lifted it in the second half, but we just couldn't sustain it. And to be honest, that's kind of what I thought was going to happen. I didn't think we could maintain that level of intensity for the entire game. We laid nearly 100 tackles, so the pressure was there. We had more clearances. I think most of our players ranked high in terms of, Supercoach points and just the stats, but in terms of output and being effective, Geelong were much better in that case. Highlight for me, probably Hunter Clark at half-back. The amount of times that the ball was, no one could pick it up. It was pretty wet. It rained in patches during the game, but he could be clean among a pack of players and dodge them, and he just had that composure that a lot of the players didn't have. And he's a player that, we've played in the midfield, we've played him at half-forward, played him on the wing, and now we find him at half-back flank against the top team, and he's performed amazingly. So I think that's a position that he can grow in, and those are the sort of highlights that we have to take from these sort of performances. The Caulfields, the Hunter Clarks, the Marshalls, the Ben Longs, those exciting youngsters. Gresham again, very quiet, didn't do too much for me. But those are the sort of highlights that I think we need to take from the game. I might stop chatting there and go through some of these comments, see what Ben reckons. How good was Hunter Clark? Let's see what a Geelong fan thinks of these players. Hunter Clark, what did you think of his performance? You don't have to look at the camera. Yeah. He's driving, so you probably shouldn't look at the camera. But what do you reckon?
I thought it was excellent. It was very good. I was rebound off the back.
Out of 10?
8.
Give him 8. That's not bad. That's pretty generous.
Yeah.
Hunter Clark is going to be a star. There's another Hunter Clark comment. Not the win, but pretty proud of all the boys tonight. Great effort and starting to kick straight finally, says Stuart Smith. Emmett says we matched them well in the first half, but then just dropped off from three-quarter onwards. Good effort though. I think it's time for Richo to get ejected. That's a new term. I haven't heard coach getting ejected. What's your opinion of Alan Richardson? Do you think he loses his job this week?
I know, we've had chats about this, and I think we partially disagree. I actually think I'd stick with him.
Yeah.
I think, the last couple of weeks have let you down a little bit, but you were, 6 and 7 at one stage or something like that?
6 and 7.
With
after being
probably 10 of your best 22 out.
Yeah.
Pretty much the whole first half of the season.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, I think that's reasonable, and I would think with a full list he could well do a good job.
Yeah.
I would hang on to him.
So you'd keep him into next year?
I would, yes. I think.
At least give him the rest of the year to.
Yeah. So they had what? No
Hanbury, no Jack Stephen, no Jake Carlisle, no Geary, no Jimmy Webster.
Yeah. No Paddy
Dylan
McCartan,
Robertson, no Paddy McCartan.
I don't know. For me, it's a big list.
Loney's been missing for 10 weeks, and he was good today. So.
As big an injury list as any club has had. So
yeah.
I would give him the benefit of the doubt and say 6 and 7, and he's dropped off a bit since then. But it's not a bad effort for someone with half a list.
Yeah. Let's see what else we've got. Same old. This is Tim. Same old story. Brave loss. Nothing from the umps. No, that's the first comment on the umpiring, to be honest. So.
I thought Geelong copped the rough end of the stick tonight with the umpires.
He's giving it to you guys. So please keep the language to PG rating.
Especially the holding the ball. There was, I don't know. Ben Long got a very dubious one in that first quarter. They set you guys up, so I don't know. Could have been a spanking without the umpires on your side.
To be fair, the umpires did keep us in the game. Let's go with that. Tim says, same old story, brave loss, nothing from the umps. Coach couldn't stop run on, bombs into the forward line. It's a reoccurring horror movie. Greg says, we really looked much better, but still not enough to match the best in the game. I mean, yes, obviously, they're the best in the game for a reason. They're 2 games clear on top for a reason. And we lost by 27 points at a ground that we usually get spanked at. And we've been to games where I think it was consecutive years where we lost by 90-odd points and the next year it was 103 points. So to lose by 27 at a ground that Geelong are generally very dominant at, and we've been in very poor form, and they're coming off a loss, so a rebound. So you'd think that the Cats would really want to put the foot down on a bottom 6 team. We did very well, and when you take all those things into account. Stuart Smith says Brad Scott comes to the Saints, we go backwards in my opinion. Bo says I seriously believe that we have the cattle, we are just missing some key additions to the midfield, for some through injury. Ross and Ake is disappointing, but some really great efforts. Dunstan was terrific, and proud of Hunter Clark, their midfield stars in Duncan, and particularly Dangerfield were the difference. Well done those Saints. It's a good comment. Elaine says, I thought it was a gutsy effort, considering that not many teams can beat the Cats down at the Cattery. Just saying. Yes, you did say. Dunstan was great, and Hunter Clark. Marshall's first half was freakish. Let's go back and watch. I thought he was very good. Are we actually thinking Richo is the problem, or do we just not have the cattle in the park? We have the worst bottom four. I swear, some of you guys, they're literally commenting the same comment. Mate, Bo, I'm not going to let you off on this one. You've commented that twice already. Just classic copy and paste there, mate. You're going to come up with something new. Gresham Quiet, come on, mate. I haven't seen his stats, but I just thought he wasn't as damaging as he could have been. And I still think that he needs to play in the forward line. I don't understand why we're persisting him as a midfielder 80% of the time. I think he's a gun forward with a patch in the midfield, but we're doing it the wrong way around. That's my opinion. Jack Nunes is the worst 150 gamer I've ever seen, says Declan.
Harsh.
Very harsh. See, they're pretty brutal on here. Bo says the umpiring was atrocious, 24-12 every time free kick Geelong. Grant says problem is our experienced players are our passengers, Akers, Nunes, Ross, Sinclair. That's a good point. I think the new players, the fresh players that have played less than 30 games are the better performing players. So it's disappointing when you see the more experienced in Akers, Nunes, Ross, Sinclair, players that have played over 100 games, not standing up. But you've got Nick Hind, who's played 10 games, Ben Long, who's played 20, Marshall, who's played 20, Wilkie, Caulfield. There's players that have played less than 40 games, and they look the most experienced on the field.
What's your take on Akers? I thought he was average.
I thought Akers. I used to be, particularly last year and the year before, when Akers would play, I'd get excited because I could see that he had the making to be a very good midfielder. When you see him in the flesh, he's as tall as Paddy Cripps. He could be as big as Paddy Cripps, and he doesn't use it. It's like, I think he's a bit lazy. I don't think he works hard enough to get to the contest. He doesn't work enough to get the ball. He rarely has games where he has over 20 possessions. He can't get his hands on the ball, or we're not playing him in the right position, because I rarely see him at the centre bounce.
Yeah.
Maybe give him a go in the middle, let him run on the ball. But he could be a good trade bait. Maybe those are the sort of players, the Ross, the Akers that you get. Yeah. What could he demand, do you think, if we traded him? In terms of picks, would it be like second round?
Late second, or it would be.
I'd take that. Because you can get good players late.
Yeah, absolutely.
In drafts.
And it's a pretty even draft this year.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Yeah. So maybe try that. Andrews' best was Brown. I thought Brown played very well. I thought Hawkins was quiet in general, but I think one-on-one Brown did exactly what we know he can do, and that's just have body on body, not give away any silly free kicks, and just punch the ball, play a really basic game. But and it took a very lucky kick at the end for Hawkins to get a goal on the board, and that was when Brown was off the ground. Andrews says 29 shots, 56 inside 50s, can't take opportunities. Gresham, I didn't realise. Gresham had 28 disposals and 7 tackles. Not a quiet game. Fair call. But I want to know, what did he do with those 28? And I'm not being harsh. I just don't think he was as effective as he could have been. I'd rather Gresh having 28 and 7 in midfield as opposed to him having 15 and kicking 4 in the forward pocket. I know which one I'd pick. That's all I'm saying. I think he's more effective as a forward. He's obviously going to get more of the ball in the midfield because that's what midfielders do. But if you're playing in a grand final and you need a goal late, you have to have Gresham in your forward line.
You don't play De Goey in the midfield, do you?
Hey?
You don't play De Goey or CBJ in the midfield.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, they play there for maybe
20%
10% of the game.
Yeah.
They're forwards. That's where they do the damage. Dunstan, unrestricted free agent next year. Why not offer him? Duncan's an unrestricted free agent next year. Why not offer him $800,000 a year? Would you be sad to lose someone like Duncan?
Very sad. He's the next captain.
Do you reckon? How old is he?
Sure. He's 26, 27.
So he's at the peak age now.
Yeah.
Could be one. How did Ablett get off the leash in the 4th? Maybe you can answer that. Because he's a gun?
Well, I thought he was hobbled.
Because he's the goat?
I thought,
He looked sore. He was hobbling a little bit.
He was on the bike at half time. I thought he was doing very little. I was actually saying that we should give him a month's rest and try and get back
and then he
in time
comes
for
on and kicks 2 goals to win the game.
Yeah, ripper. He had a fantastic last quarter.
That's Ablett though. He doesn't need much to do damage, and that's what I'm saying about Gresham. Put him in the goal square.
Exactly.
Both of Ablett's goals were opportunistic. They were small forward-like. That's what Gresham can do. So. And
he also kicked a very good out on the full as well.
And he kicked a very good out on the full. So he could have kicked 3 in the last quarter. Cameron says Gresh is not damaging with his touches. Agree with Gresham as a forward, mate. Unfortunately, we just don't have enough mids at the moment, so maybe pushing Gresham there is the case. So sick of Akers, Sinclair and Ross. Mackenzie should be the main dish at Rusty Spud. I don't know. Akers and future second round for Brad Hill from Freo. Also, Brad Hill had 37 today in a losing side against Hawthorn, so that could be a good one for us.
What was your take on Mackenzie as a defensive forward on Tom Stewart?
I think Stewart probably did what he does anyway. I don't know if I mean, I thought in general your backline didn't have that rebound as it usually does, and I'm not sure if that had much to do with Mackenzie or just our forward, our mid setup ahead of the ball. But I don't think he's in our best 22, and definitely not in our best 22 as a forward.
No. You're right.
Cameron says Mackenzie did well as a defensive forward on Stewart though.
There we go.
I need to read these comments before I comment. Captain quiet off halfback. Possibly, but I just don't think that ever put us into a winning position. I would rather have someone there that could take a mark and kick a goal. But Mackenzie, he did his job, but didn't put us in a winning position. Not enough reward for effort in the second half. Honestly, good effort from the boys today. It's not the day to jump on the team's back, says Fraser. Agree with Gresham as a forward, says Glenn. I don't like the way Gresham has played this year. It's not working. Christina says some promising signs. Cooper says Long has to go, did nothing again. That's interesting on Long. I thought Long was
one of the best players in the first half. Yeah. Quite second half.
Parker in for him. Hannah's for Patton. Patton was quiet, I agree with that. How is Nunes 150 gamer? Membry missing in action. Trade Akers and let another coach get the best out of him, like other players that have poached in terms of we've given away McAvoy, Stanley, Cripps, Lynch. We've given away a lot of players like Akers, and they've turned into Jamie Cripps.
Jamie Cripps,
yeah, he was, and then Lynch from Adelaide.
Yeah.
So we've given away some very good players that have turned, played in grand finals, and some of them won premierships. Like McAvoy. Loney made a huge difference tonight. What's your mate's honest opinion with the Yums tonight? Stuart has asked this.
Am I?
Yeah, you're honest.
Yeah, no, look, we probably got the rub of the green. There were some pretty rough holding the ball decisions against you throughout the night. I'm not a big believer on blaming the umps for losses, but we probably got the rub of the green.
It's as honest and unbiased as he's been since I've known him, guys. And it took you one question for that. And let's end it on this last comment. Is this Richo's last game? I'm going to go with no. I think that if the margin had have blown out to over 50, 60 points late, I feel like that's done the job. I don't know if this is his last game. I feel like the margin has given him one more week. I think that if we can go, I think we're going to wait until finals is definitely out of reach, and I think that's when they're going to pull the plug. Technically, we can still make finals with the amount of games left in the season, but if we lose to the Bulldogs next week, I think that might be when the call's made, and I feel like we've already got someone lined up. I would hope to give Brett Ratton a go. I think he's been well regarded by everyone. At Hawthorn, he was very successful there. I think he was very good at Carlton when they had such a bad list, and he made finals with them.
Yeah, he did.
And anyone that's got experience under Alistair Clarkson for 4 years and winning 3 premierships as an assistant coach, you've got to give him a chance. But we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed my comments and Ben's comments, special comments. If you want to see more of Ben, please comment and let me know, and I'll be sure to include him in future videos. Leave it there. If you know anyone that wants to watch the video, please tag them, like them. It'll be on YouTube probably at midnight when I get home and do all of that. Spotify as well if you want to re-listen to it in your car, and if you can't watch the video here. Anyway, thanks guys. See you next week. Go Saints.